Welcome to Insurance Claim Radio, where leading hail loss consumer advocate Phil Coutu and his team of experts teach you how to avoid the pitfalls of hail damage claims and how to use his team of experts to get what you truly deserve under your insurance policy. Now, here's your host of Insurance Claim Radio, Phil Coutu.
Hi, we're live with Insurance Claims Radio. We're a radio show designed to help the consumer. We're advocates for the consumer often. Today, we're speaking about insurance. We're going to pick it up for our last show where we're getting into policy and policy review, how valuable it is to have a couple of good minds like a public adjuster and an attorney look at your policy rather than just have an individual. And we're going to pick it up and let James was speaking away on that. And James, take it away.
Yeah, what I want the public to know, those policies are designed to basically be vague. They want to be able to come out and tell you what the policy says. They want to be able to come out and basically tell you where they want the claim to go.
So let me interrupt you for a second. When I started adjusting many decades ago, and I was given a box of claims, and I read the insurance policy. It was one of the Gulf Coast ISO policies. And as a new adjuster, I read that policy, and I was honestly like,
oh, yeah.
I have no idea
Chinese.
what they're trying to say. And I'm pretty smart kind of. I'm like, holy cow, I must have read it 10 more times. Then I got my highlighter out, and I was like, okay, holy cow, are they ever sharp when they write these?
Absolutely.
They're not writing it in simple speak, common language. They take stuff out, put it back in, go to your deck sheet. They're standardized cut and paste policies. Trust me, people, a lot of think tank go into those, and they're written a lot of times with wishy-washy language. Sure, right now, I'm sure I'll get a letter from the state or somebody when I say that. It's my personal opinion.
I'm going to step in right here.
Step it in before I get the letter from the state.
Most policies today, people want replacement cost coverage. And the way that works is basically they take the value today, they depreciate it, and then they cut you a check or send you a payment. And once you do the work, they'll pay you the depreciation amount. I challenge anybody to go look at that policy and see what the definition of depreciation is. That depreciation, and most claimants don't understand this, they could depreciate it 30%, 20%. You really don't know. You're taking the carrier's value of it.
It's almost like that TV commercial. You bought the wrong insurance company instead of buying the wrong policy. And you do have to rely on your commercial insurance agent or your insurance agent to a certain degree. But these contracts are that. They are contracts. Phil mentioned a contract of adhesion. Nobody is going to say that exists in the real world, but it take the policy or leave the policy. Go to another company. And who is going to sit there and a normal person and go through 50 pages of insurance coverages and try to figure out what cosmetic damage is, how much that depreciation is going to be. You need an expert to review that policy if it's a significant policy on a big property, or to make sure that you're actually covered. If you have a roof that's 5 years old and you now have to replace a $2 million roof, but you don't have any insurance for it, you've got an issue.
I'm going to read out here from the free dictionary offline what a contract of adhesion definition is so everyone understands it there. Adhesion contract is a contract of adhesion refers to a contract drafted by one party in a position of power, leaving the weaker party to take it or leave it. Adhesion contracts are generally created by a business providing goods or services in which the consumer must either sign the boilerplate contract or seek services elsewhere. Why is that important?
You know, Phil, I was looking at that. You know, these insurance companies, they're great in a lot of ways, but when it comes to policy, they don't want you to understand it, right? They want this confusion.
By design.
It's designed, right? And so when we look at just the regular scope, or if you get an insurance, readout from the insurance company, instead of looking at it from left to right, we need to look at it from right to left. It's designed that way so you don't understand it. And so especially when you get into policy exclusion or whatever, that's why we need experts. And so that's why the public needs to come to a panel like us or people that are experts so we can get to the next level without being kind of not getting half of what we're supposed to get.
The first question in any insurance claim is there coverage? And that is answered by the policy and the contract.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We're live here with Insurance Claims Radio, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration, 303-997-4247, 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftоprestoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, you're live with Insurance Claims Radio. We're a radio show designed for the policyholder, the consumer out there about insurance. We specialize in hail-type claims, wind, exterior, interior damages. I've got James D'Angelo, public adjuster online, Ed Levy, owner and attorney of Atlas Law Firm, Stevie Solomon, shingle rep, and we've got Mike Neely, Pro Roof Solutions, commercial and residential roofing. We are just left off talking about a contract of adhesion. I want to say one thing. Some of the guys have an opinion on here that they think the contracts are designed to be confusing by the insurance. Let's be in the real world, everybody. A lot of the expert people are going to deny that. We're giving you our opinions here. But one thing that was interesting, I remember when I was a large loss adjuster working out in the hurricanes in Florida in 204, 205, I remember Jeb Bush. Can't remember, was he the governor of the state or something?
He was at that time. I was
the
there
governor
for those
said,
hurricanes
okay.
also.
Jeb Bush took out his contract of insurance and said, we need to pass some kind of legislation. Because I just read my contract, and I think he was an attorney. And he said, I'm an attorney. I'm going back 14 years to what he was saying, but I heard it live. And he goes, when I'm a pretty smart guy and I have these degrees, and I read my contract, and I have no idea some points of what it's saying.
Phil, I'm going to step in here.
No, he said, how's the regular
Phil,
consumer supposed to understand
It's better
this?
than that. In 2014, they did the same thing here in Colorado. Ed, are you aware of that?
They do.
Yeah, they were supposed to make the policy simple for the insured to read, and with our just passed governor. And there was a House bill, and it passed. Truth is, take out your policy and try to understand it.
Exactly.
And you're only going to get partial, policy there. You're going to have to ask your agent for a full and complete copy. Maybe you can explain that a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
But, if you don't have that full, and it might be 25 or 30 pages that you may never even see.
Most cases, when you buy a policy, they send you a sample policy, and then they send you the deck pages with all the endorsements you bought.
They're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, my
Doesn't
point
always
is,
come is what I'm
I
saying.
know, but my point is, you have a loss. First thing you want to do is order a certified copy to the date of loss. This is very important, and read that.
It's
policy.
really fun. This is experience. When you get the certified copy, you request it. It doesn't look great. There's pages missing, so you request another one, and it's different. And you request it a third time and ask them how this all happened, and you get a third policy. Which one's true and certified? I've had this happen where I've had 3 pages on a file about 8 years ago, and I'm like, they're all true and certified, and they're not all the same. All the same. Anyways, it does help the lawsuit. So that's just a legitimate story there that really happened.
No, this is a good discussion on policies, though. Most insureds assume, I've been with this carrier 20 years, I've never had a claim, they're just going to take care of me. They're a business. They're a business for profit. And paying claims is not profitable. I'm not saying they want to cheat you, but they can use that policy to pay a lesser amount. And let me just say this about policies also. In general, the average replacement cost policy either buys you a Rolls-Royce repair or it can buy you a Volkswagen repair. Same policy.
Here, it goes even further. Having the Rolls-Royce coverage is important. The thing is, sometimes you don't get a good adjuster or you don't have a good area or geography area manager running that division, whatever insurance company it is. It's really interesting. Or sometimes you're into a really big storm like the hurricanes, and everyone starts, these are just real life experience, starts tightening their belt buckle. I've been with state insurers. I've firsthand witnessed it. I've been in the meetings where the belt buckle's getting tightened because there's hundreds of millions of dollars going out the window.
Philip, insurance adjusters are not contractors. They don't put the job together. Besides, they're not responsible to put it together. That's important. So they're determining the price.
A lot of times you get very experienced adjusters. They still have very little overall construction experience. Everything they've seen is on one side of the table. Estimates from their adjusters. I have a really great friend. I won't share his name. He worked for the insurance industry up till 2 years ago for 31 years. Has a few years on me. And he said, I'm going to change his name to Ted. And Ted goes to me, you know what, Phil? All those times I worked with you 14 years ago and I was bugging you about your estimates that were too high when I worked for the carrier. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh my gosh, I just renovated my condo in Santa Barbara and it was supposed to take 4 months. It took a year because all the licensing and then all the extra stuff to bring up the code the contractors did. I had a $96,000 estimate to do what I thought was off and on for 4 months to get the whole thing done. And it went $187,000 and went almost a year because of the holdups. And he goes, I just learned, and I've been doing this over 30 years. You know how much I learned doing my own place? I was involved because I was off work between hurricanes. I said, yeah, isn't it amazing? He goes, no, I feel really bad all the times we'd have, because I was an adjuster on Sunday. I was always fighting for the insured. And he goes, I just feel really, really bad at sometimes how we would get into it with you.
Well, they don't know the detail, okay? They really don't. And I was a contractor for 35 years. They just have no idea. And
Well,
if you haven't experienced it,
James,
how would you?
It's one size fits all to them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
And that's how the policy is. That's how and I'm going to say this. The devil is in the detail with the claim, with the policy. In fact, Ed, if you want to add on the policy.
I will. I'll jump in. These matters are incredibly fact intensive. And if somebody like Phil or James can explain, well, here's why we need to replace the flashing on the roof. Here's why we need to replace the sub portions of the roof. That story is what convinces juries and judges and mediators why it needs to be this way, as opposed to, well, the standard in the industry, it's $30 a square foot. If you can explain and justify factually why it has to be $150 a square foot and why it's going to take twice as long, then that's something the policyholder is entitled to. It's part of that claim.
And Ed just opened up a can of worms there. Let's talk about that. They're going to come out with their insurance software pricing. It is a one size fits all. And here's the problem, though. Most contractors are not following the manufacturer's specifications properly. They're following part of them. I've been at seminars where even the main roofing manufacturers said we go about 97%, 95% of roofs. I can't remember the exact number he quoted in the 90s. We get on that roof. It is not done to our specifications. So now you have a pricing that's been averaged with 95, 90. I don't want to get in if it's 89.2, but let's just say most contractors aren't doing legitimately.
Affects your warranty.
Right. So people out there understand too. You think sometimes you're getting the exact same roof and everything, but you're the one holding the bag. What I can tell you is that if you have an insurance policy, you paid a premium, why not hire the best contractor to do the job? You don't want to get price gouged. But I've had insurance companies come to me and say, hey, this guy will do this roof for $100,000, you're at 130. I'm like, yes, sir. I said, I got a fair price. Oh, no, you don't. And we even got a guy at 78,000. I said, well, let's look at their work. I'll get a 1 or 2 page contract.
Look at the details.
Yeah, and I'll go through the details. I'm like, he's not even agreeing to meet the manufacturer's specs. You don't know what he's using as the underlayment. You've got a dead spot on your roof. He's just got shingles going in there, and it goes below the acceptable pitch of 412. We're putting ice and water shield in there, or we're putting a torch on membrane, or we're putting a metal pan in there. So yes, when those shingles start to fail 5, 7, 8 years from the sun down the road, and they're separating the waters and getting in, when the contractor's warranty is over, and you're footing the bill for an $1,800 ceiling repair, and then you fix it, and then it wrecks again next time there's a big snowstorm or ice damming, and then now you fix it again for $1,800, $2,500, and you go, oh, now I got to go spend $4 more grand on my roof. But you might have saved a little bit of money somewhere else. It's very, very important. And that's where you do get into CVs, references. But I mean, references I love, but it seems like everybody makes them up these days. I've and you call and the person says, oh yeah, they're great. So my biggest thing when I look at a contractor, I want to see how long they've been in business. I want to talk to them quick, and I want to test their knowledge a bit, ask them what the problems are, whether they're doing a wall or a stucco. I want to know what the problems are and see the answers compared to the other contractors. And I know who knows their stuff by the end. You do a little bit, and you don't have to be an expert for the public out there to do that. And then the insurance company's going to say, oh, well, this guy will do it for $100,000. That's where you need your consummate expert that's in at 130 or whatever to say, well, yeah, that guy's doing $100,000, but he's not doing this, this, and this.
He's doing $100,000 worth of work.
I'm the expert. Hey, you're paying your $1,000 deductible. You want to go get the better guy. Now, you don't want a guy who's charging $130,000 who's really doing $50,000 work. And there are those guys out there. None of them are at this table right now. They wouldn't be here. But what you do want is to get the best roof that you paid for under that contract. And remember, everybody bows down to their insurance company. The insurance company is under contract with you. So as long as the insurance company is performing, there's no problem. But when they're not performing, don't bow down to them. Stand up for your rights and enforce your contractual rights. Take it away, James, or somebody.
Oh, well.
We're talking about manufacturers, right? And probably Stevie, the ex-Tamco guy here, can tell us a little bit about manufacturers and what they are requiring from, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, it's, the manufacturer specs are there for a reason, right? It's not something that just pulled out of the air. It's a process that's gone through testing, and they've certified certain methods of how to install shingles primarily, or even whatever manufactured product it might be. And so a lot of, you're right, absolutely. A lot of times these guys go on out.
Okay, so we're going to come right back with Stevie Solomon, ex-shingle rep. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to Insurance Claim Radio. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration. 303-997-4247. 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftоprestoration.com.
Welcome back to Insurance Claim Radio. Now, here's Phil Coutu and his team.
Hi, we're back with Insurance Claims Radio. We got a good panel on today. We've got about 10 minutes left in the show. We're going to pick back up with Stevie, ex-shingle rep, Tamco, talking about manufacturer specs. Take it away, Steve.
Thanks, Phil. You guys are absolutely right. When we talk about specs, it is very important to take a look at what the manufacturer is recommending, right? That takes away most of the headache. You're following rules and regulations already that are in place that has gone through certification process, nationwide certification in most cases. So, that's a great hurdle to jump over quickly by following directions. And we've seen that many times. If we go out to inspection and we see why was it done this way, or we see shingles failing sometimes, and it's like immediately when we go back and see what the issue is, it can quite mostly, in 99% of the time,
installation
issues.
Installation, exactly. That not all installers are equal, especially when these hailstorms come and there is a big demand for the roofers.
Oh yeah.
There's new people coming out into the industry that really don't know what they're doing. And Phil said it earlier. It's your product when it's done. The insurance company does not warrant the work for you.
Yeah.
It's also your responsibility to prove that, right? So,
absolutely.
I get into communication with the insurance companies where they're saying, hey, I want 3 or 5 different manufacturer specs showing that, we have a space decking issue there and that it has to be an nailable surface and stuff. So it's not just one. They make us go out and really search it and get it, and they want it from all the manufacturers.
And they are different too, Stevie, right? They're not all equal. Owens Corning is not Tamco or vice versa.
And we do our own testing. It starts from the beginning, like you said, the policy holder, right? I was looking to buy a house earlier this year, and we went through the policy, and, good thing I'm in the industry, so I was able to look at it and ask certain questions. and found out that I wasn't probably covered for hail in Colorado. And it's
Nothing to
like,
worry about.
yes, and so immediately I was like, why am I not covered for this, right? So it is our responsibility as policyholders to take a look at the policy. If you can't read it, like Ed mentioned, hey, get an attorney, because these guys are watching your back, right? They're going to take care of you. Guys like Phil, I've been in the office while they've gone through, taking care of their clients, and I see how much hard work they put into a claim. It is their livelihood, and they are there taking care of their clients, which is refreshing to see when I've worked with over 3,000 contractors here in the Denver area. And when, Phil would top that, they stand above the rest, which is awesome to see.
One of the things is I'll point out about 7-8 years ago, I was going through my policy. We had a little bit better price. We had a policy in effect for about 3 months. And I'm carrying $5 million liability insurance. Most roofers carry $300,000 to $1 million. We said, we're going to so we started about 10 years carrying, maybe 9 years ago, carrying $5 million. And I got a little bit of a discounted price one year. I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. So I'm an adjuster, right? I've been trained. I was Vail Institute trained on Gulf Coast policies. And I decided I'm going to read my policy, which is like, even though I'm an adjuster, I don't want to read my own policy, right? So I go through and read it. And we have an open roof exclusion. So people out there, not all contractors, not all policies are the same. And what is an open roof exclusion? An open roof exclusion says that, well, your roof is open unless you took basically extreme measures to waterproof it. You have no coverage as the contractor.
Wow.
So people are and there's many roofers out there that have this, and they don't even know it though, because honestly, a lot of the roofers are different races, different education levels. That's not their foray to be reading policies. So I am a roofer, but I'm unique because I was an adjuster. And we do many other things. But when you have an open roof exclusion, the people think that the roofer has coverage. But what are you going to do if you save a little bit of money and you hire this roofer and a thunderstorm hits and they flood your whole house? Guess what? It's going on your policy. It's your deductible. You might have a battle with the insurance company. They can try and subrogate against the roofer, but they're SOL because there's a limit of 0 because the roof was open. So I actually had that coverage for a few months in a policy I didn't even know, and I'm a pretty smart guy. I said, I better read through all this, why I got this discount. And they don't really, everyone's signing off the paperwork. It's just like we're hitting the buttons, so you're not paying attention. So it is really important. And let me tell all the commercial property owners out there, commercial property owners, warehouses, condominiums, you really need to have qualified people review your policies. You have a hailstorm come by, and maybe you have limited law and ordinance coverage, limited at $10,000. I just had one of these on a multi-million-dollar claim. But you got space decking, and you have maybe $180,000 sheeting you got to redo, and you have $10,000 coverage. You're paying for that little bit of a discount on your ordinance and law. You're paying $170,000, $150,000, $100,000 out of pocket. It's pretty significant.
Wow. That's where an adjustment, the proper adjustment, really can make a difference. Because you could be limited on the law and ordinance, and the truth of the matter is, some of that money can be pushed off into the regular repair. It doesn't necessarily all have to be part of the law and ordinance coverage. So it is really important to understand the policy, and adjusting is both a science and an art. It takes years of experience to know how you can move some of these monies around and use other buckets of coverage so that you're not out of pocket.
Hey, James, maybe you could explain to the public what ordinance of law is.
Basically code improvements, but it could be that you're in a gated community and all houses have to be the color pink. And, you want to go back, and pink's an expensive color that year. So that you would be required to meet that.
And sometimes it's an HOA. I mean, I was, dealing with a residential customer in Castle Rock, and they had paint colors, right? Their roof couldn't be darker color than the house of the paint. So the bottom line is that, they made this roofing contractor and the owner take the roof completely off, put on a right color from the HOA. So it's all in there.
Yeah.
Well, another interesting thing is I had a claim about a year ago in a prominent church in Denver. And we got the claim from $98,000 up to $1.1 million. And the attorney called me, not Ed, another attorney's like, oh, Phil, I can't believe it. We're almost at your number. And I said, okay. Looked at it and said, yeah, we're right at my number. Okay, great. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. I said, well, hold on, let me review it. And I reviewed it. We had a 250 limited coverage on ordinance and lots, a big church, and they shifted over to about 400 and change. And it was for tapered insulation on this giant flat roof and some other roofs on the property. And I was like, hold on, give me about a week with it. And I went back out there and I started testing everything. I said, let's go test that flat roof. We just cut it at the edges. And I started cutting it up, doing my test cuts all the way up to the middle. And I found out the tapered insulation was existing. I was able to take 143,000.
That's where adjustment and experience comes into play, like I said earlier.
And this is where we work great with the attorneys and can help them.
Yes.
So I took my contracting and adjusting experience, shifted the 143,000 over, showed the pictures, had my engineer run out there to document it. Cost me about $1,000, and we shifted 143 over. So we only
within your 250 then.
We only ended up 7,000 over our 250, which saved our client 143,000. So we did. It's the same number, but we would have been limited on that one coverage.
It's like I said, it's which bucket of coverage you put it in. And it takes experience to know that. And the insurance companies want to do the right thing. I'm not saying they don't. But, if you don't know this, you could be on the hook for that money.
No, you absolutely would be on the hook for that money.
And the insurance company may not know it. So when you bring it to their attention, they should in good faith fix it.
And my attorney at the time didn't know it. That's where the expertise of the multi-brains comes in. It's really a huge deal. So we're going to be doing our next show here shortly. You're live with Insurance Claims Radio. My name is Phil Coutu. You can reach me at rooftoproofing.com. Our number is 303-997-4247. That's 303-997-4247. And our next show, we'll be talking about insurance related to hail, roofing, and exterior damage in the Colorado market. And that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to Insurance Claim Radio. For more information on how to maximize your hail damage insurance claim or to contact Phil and his team, call 303-997-4247. And be sure to tune in next week for more Insurance Claim Radio.
Do you have a commercial property hail claim, troubled claim, underpaid claim, missed damages, bad faith, possible legal action? Rooftop Restoration is a leading hail loss consumer advocate for poorly handled insurance claims. We specialize in hail damage, large commercial claims, and provide the total claims package risk-free. We pay and cover all expert costs. Engineers, attorneys, roof inspectors, adjusters, we get you what you deserve under your insurance policy. Finance large deductibles, finance all the experts, exceptional experience and a stellar reputation with zero out-of-pocket costs. Risk-free. Rooftop Restoration. 303-997-4247. 303-997-4247. Check us out at rooftop.restoration.com.